The term military analyst is not a legally protected term. It's not like doctor. It's more like economist. You know, any asshole can start calling themselves one and fart out a vaguely plausible opinion on the current situation.
I have a vaguely plausible opinion on the current situation. I was out hiking like I do because there's no assholes on the hiking trail. And it's very absent, by the way. I think I was the only one in the entire park because everyone had to go. Oh, was everyone faking like they had freedom? Oh, that's right. It was Christmas to the New Year. Oh, and all the people, all the tourists showed up. And then they went back to their fucking cubicle slaves. Sheep. Anyway, so I was out hiking. And I remembered Wilson because I was listening to TFM actually. And I guess we should start with the premise. So TFM, Turd Flinging Monkey, he's one of the OGs. I guess he certainly considered a colleague of mine. But the fascinating thing about TFM, not only do I disagree with him the most of all the podcasters I listen to, but the reason I like tuning in is because even though I disagree with him, his logic is 100% sound. Now, there's assumptions that are different, goals would be different, values and principles could be different. So we can have two people who disagree, yet I guess both can be right based on what their goals and objectives are. But TFM, the main things he talks about, one of the things he's known about is that he has a sex doll for a girlfriend, which your immediate response would be, well, probably it's gross, but that's weird, or that's not normal, that's not right. It's certainly not normal. But then the issue of it not being right, I obviously I disagree. I'm like, no, that's not a real woman. But it's not even rationalizations. His explanation, his evidence is all emotions are chemical, neurochemical. The chances of getting real love in the real world, especially in the West, is low. There might be an economic argument he makes that the amount of time and effort I have to go get a real girlfriend, obviously he's making the economic decision. It's not worth it to him. So that economic argument is implied. And he's also not wrong about the risk argument where he has dated girls before, people cheated on him, standard emotion and drama and the pain and emotional price that one paid, not to mention all the time lost. He came up with a reasoned decision that it was easier to get the sex doll. Some people would say, but that's not real. That's not a human being. He knows that, but he is going for the psychological and neurochemical releases that come imagining it is, or treating it like it is his girlfriend. But it is, I think in his mind, I don't want to put words into his mouth. It is a substitute, not an actual girl. I think he would agree with that. And he knows that. He knows it is a substitute. So, boy, I really need lemons. I want some lemons, but I guess some limes will do. We are swapping out a substitute good. And the one thing, he's intellectually honest this entire discussion or debate. But the one thing I got to admit, when you tune into him, he's a happy guy. And he does derive some benefit having an inanimate object in the supplanted role of a girlfriend. And then when you look at it from that perspective, you're like, he's not wrong. He is getting some kind of value out of it. Who am I to judge? I'm a libertarian. You go do what you want. He's not hurting anyone. And so in a situation without said, you got three choices: no sex doll, no girlfriend, sex doll. No sex doll, and then girlfriend, would be the third choice. He has chosen for the sex doll. I guess to argue between no sex doll and sex doll, because you wouldn't have a girlfriend and no sex doll. That would be the decision. Between the scenario A, no sex doll, no girlfriend, and sex doll, assuming girlfriend is off the table, not a third option, he's choosing to have the sex doll. And without a lot of thought, without listening to his arguments for it, you would say, oh, that's sad, pathetic, blah, blah, blah. But then I thought about Wilson in the movie Castaway while I was hiking. I'm like, well, wait a minute. If you're starved for human interaction and attention, as the case Tom Hanks' character was in Castaway, he ended up if you don't know the movie Castaway, I guess it's old enough. We should probably explain it to you youngins. Castaway is a movie where Tom Hanks becomes a castaway on a deserted island. He's flying in a FedEx cargo plane. It crashes, blows up. He ends up ashore, deserted island. A couple things from the crashed FedEx delivery plane land on his shores, of which is a volleyball. It says Wilson Volleyball. Well, then he painted a face. That's what's on the thumbnail. He painted a face. He called it Wilson, and this became his buddy. And towards, I think, the end of the movie, I don't even think I've seen it all the way through, he finally builds himself a raft. Spoiler alert, fuck you. I don't care if you... So, you ruined it for me. Wasn't that good of a movie anyway? He finally builds a raft. He catches a tide, and he has Wilson, his buddy. He's been talking to this volleyball for years. Wilson gets unstrapped, and Tom Hanks realizes he has to let Wilson go and float away because he's going to miss the tide. There's no hopping back in the water and getting back on his raft to make it. And so he's crying because he's lost the one person in his life. And it's the exact same thing with Turd Flinging Monkey. That is an object. It's a volleyball. But if Tom Hanks, I don't know studies about castaways, but if Tom Hanks didn't have that volleyball, it's debatable whether his character would have lived in a real world scenario of being a castaway. But there's certainly no doubt about it that if you are by yourself and there's nothing else going on, you are going to have to come up with other people, either in your imagination or surrogates in the real world, like a volleyball. You would probably be better off. And there would be no doubt in my mind if that ever happened in the real world and Wilson, the volleyball, fell out and you had to choose between getting back to the home or missing Wilson, you would all be crying too. It's actually heart-wrenching in the movie. And we all know that, like intuitively would know it, but then I remember there was the monkey experiment, no pun intended. Here it is. I had to look it up. Harlow's classic monkey experiment. In this study, Harlow took infant monkeys from the biological mothers and gave them to inanimate surrogate mothers. One was a simple construction of wire and wood, and the second was covered in foam, rubber, and soft terry cloth. The infants were assigned to one of two conditions. In the first, the wire mother had the milk bottle, and the cloth mother did not. In the second, the cloth mother had the food, while the wire mother had none. In both conditions, Harlow found that the infant monkeys spent significantly more time with the terry cloth mother than they did the wire mother. When only the wire mother had food, the babies came to the wire mother to feed and immediately returned to cling to the cloth surrogate. Harlow's work showed that infants also turned to inanimate surrogate mothers for comfort when they were faced with new and scary situations. When placed in a novel environment with a surrogate mother, infant monkeys would explore the area, run back to the surrogate mother when startled, and then venture out and explore again. Without a surrogate mother, the infants were paralyzed with fear, huddled in a ball, sucking their thumbs. If an alarming noise-making toy was placed in the cage, an infant with a surrogate mother present would explore and attack the toy. Without a surrogate mother, the infant would cower in fear. Together, these studies produce groundbreaking empirical evidence for the primacy of parent-child attachment relationship, except for human children, right? Humans don't count, right, ladies? Because you got to ship those kids off to daycare right away, right? You need to drop those off. You need to get them out of here. You got a girl boss, damn it. God damn, you got an MBA to attend to. Fuck your kids, am I right? You're more important. Oops. Sorry, I moved that. Hang on. Let me make sure I'm centered again. Don't want to throw you OCD people off. More than 70 years later. Oh, I'm sorry. The primacy of parent-child attachment relationship and the importance of maternal touch in infant development. More than 70 years later, Harlow's discoveries continue to inform the scientific understanding of the fundamental building blocks of human behavior. Wait. Are you sure we're not supposed to feed the bears? Actually, ton of sides. Don't feed the burros. Don't feed the wild horses. Punishable by $500 fine. Well, why wouldn't we want to feed the burros? Well, because if they become dependent on human food giving, they won't be able to survive on their own. Oh, so why do we give out welfare? Oh, humans are different. I bet they are. I bet they really are. Thank God humans haven't become dependent. Anyway, getting back to my original point. This is monkeys and these are infant monkeys. But I would assume there has to be some correlation, some similar genetic, brain, material neurology, human nature involved, where with given the choice of no female, nothing at all, or a surrogate. If you have nothing at all or a surrogate is still going to be better for you, as evidenced by the monkeys. I'm sure the monkeys that were brought up with the surrogate, either the wire mom or the cloth mom, not a real mom, they just didn't have daycare. You know what? I bet you if Harlow had government financed daycare where the mother monkey could just kick the children monkeys off to monkey daycare and outsource, I'm sure the monkeys would have been just. They just didn't have a welfare state. That's the problem with the monkeys. Anyway, if given a choice between having nothing, so let's just eliminate, all right? You are castawayed men. You're on the Castaway Island. You are going to do better with a surrogate girlfriend, whatever form that's taken. There's more of the AI girlfriends. That was a discussion 2 weeks ago that was on the news. TFN's been doing the sex doll thing for many years now. There are digital or parasocial relationships where I've had a couple clients where the boys are, I have a girlfriend. Oh, cool. What do you guys do together? Oh, nothing. We just talk on the internet. Where does she live? Guatemala. Where are you? The States. Have you met her? No. I'm finally meeting my girlfriend. Finally meeting your girlfriend. I have a couple questions. Or in the case of Castaway with a Wilson volleyball, I gotta imagine you're going to do better with the surrogate, with the digital waifu, anime waifu. I remember. Do you remember the waifu pillows came out? Do you remember that? I'm like, what the fuck is it? And to a certain extent, this should be frowned upon. This isn't the real world. I even remember I was almost livid about it. In Japan, where there's a similar amount of Japan, low orgasms per capita. You want to talk about the secret to economic success? Orgasms per capita. In Japan, low orgasms per capita. This is almost 5, maybe 7 years ago. A hologram, I guess you could hook it up to your phone or your digital watch. It was a Japanese advertisement. There's this young professional Japanese man, and he's kind of nerdy, and he just gets up, and the girlfriend is the hologram, and she wakes him up. And then she texts him, this is all AI. This isn't a real person. This is a hologram. Text him, how are you at work? Just saying nice things. And then when he got back, she says, oh, I missed you so much. And then he goes to bed and she's there with him on his bedstand. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? This isn't real, because I was young and idealistic not that long ago. Man, Cappy, why are you so pessimistic? Because I keep being proven the optimist. I wasn't pessimistic enough. And now I realize, holy shit, it is that bad. For a lot of guys, not for everybody, but for a lot of guys. And holy shit, that might actually be a better option than having no dates at all. And now that I think about it, it's good to do research, by the way. In my book, A World Without Men, an analysis of an all-female economy, I found a study done by some Japanese Ministry of the Interior, some federal agency at the Japanese government. They polled guys and found out 40%. Was it half, a significant percentage of Japanese men under 40 had not been on a date in a year, or maybe it was ever. It was a shocking, someone look it up, not me, or just get the book and tell me what it was. A shocking high percent of Japanese men, anyway, younger, are going without female interaction, which kind of correlates here. South Korea as well. I don't know about Europe. Sweden. Oh my God. I find out I'm Scandinavian. Oh, do you want to go to the Nordic countries? Fuck no. Oh, but it's your culture. The hell it is. That ain't my culture. That is not my culture. I'm starting to look, and I'm starting to rethink it, because it was Wilson. And going for this, it's not the solution. This isn't good. This isn't what it should be, but it's what we got. And so I think kind of like as the environment changed, as rents basically went up to absurd levels, I've changed my position on men living at home with their parents. Well, women living at home too, people living at home with their parents. The rent got so high. I'm like, okay, it's no longer worth it because you could just live at home. But I have a caveat. You have to work 2 full-time jobs or one with a lot of OT, bank all your money. And then by 22, you should have 150 to 200,000 invested in various assets. So as long as you do that and your parents are kind enough, yeah, you should be able to, I can't tell your parents what to do. You should be able to live at home. And so that independence that was attainable in the 90s and the aughts, I don't think is attainable now. It's not feasible. And now I'm looking at it and it's like, okay, in the 90s, was it feasible? Yeah, it was. It was a lot of hard work. But based on everything I've seen, it's become much more difficult. Exponentially, not just 20% more difficult. I think it's got to be at least 5 to 10 times more difficult. And heaven help you if you're not a good looking guy. Heaven help you if you're not good looking. Well, they got the study. Half the women aren't going to be married by 2030 of marrying age. I looked at the data on another book I did. Really should be called research papers, is what they should be. The book of numbers, analyzing the ROI in the pursuit of women. I'm looking at, I'm like, yeah, there's no demand. Essentially, half the book was measuring the demand on the part of women had, the demand for men that women had, measuring that based on looks, height, and all that other stuff. And then also the supply of marriageable quality women. And so when you look at these numbers, and then I updated them in a world without men, I'm like, God, they really don't like you that much. So now we're at this impasse. The vast majority of girls are not interested in the vast majority of men. Marriage rates are going down. They're 4K. This is not pessimism on my part. This is not pessimism. I'm not like, look at the weird circus freak act show of TFM and the people who have sex dolls. That might be a bit much, a full thing sex doll. Okay. Well, look at these weirdos. Look at these losers who have like digital waifus or the guys who have the parasocial relationships with the OnlyFans girls. I think that's dumb. You're paying a fuck ton of money for that's just, you're losing your money. All right. But whatever form of supplanting surrogate relationship, I don't see how it's not going to be a trend growing in the future. I don't see how it's not going to be a reality of the future for a certain percent of the male population. And I think it's good. Look, you girls got your sex toys and your dildos. Don't act. You read your Harlequin romance books. You watch all the froofy froo and free, fall in love. Knock it off. You're just as guilty. All right. Don't come up to us. Oh, you boys can't get any. Oh yeah. What's that latest? What's a famous slut book? Who wrote the 30 Shades of Grey? That type of stuff. Those books, those are the ones I'm talking about. Oh yeah, men are delusional, but you girls all line up for you just go look at Hallmark. Go look at their Christmas, because it just happened. Go look at all the Christmas filth women watch, or Thanksgiving, or Merry Christmas too. It's like, then my grandma. Oh, the shame. My grandma, 96 years old, still alive today, was analyst, worked in finance back in the day when it was actually an accomplishment. They didn't just promote her. Gosh, she's a class act. She's just a class act. And I had this never meet your heroes, even if it is your grandma. She and the GF were talking, and she's like, well, do you ever watch the Hallmark channels? And my grandma, oh my goodness, aren't they horrible? But I just can't stop watching them. I'm like, you're supposed to be the pure, unblemished epitome of perfect grandma. And you watch this filth? She knew, oh my goodness. Like, guess everyone's going to have a vice, huh? All right. My vision of my grandma was ruined. But aside from, no, seriously, okay, if you girls get that crap and you get sex toys and you get to whatever, no, you got your Wilsons too. And I think going forward, we already see it now. If I'm talking about it's already trending, it's already happening. It's just I have the courage and bravery to point it out. The mainstream media doesn't get to that point yet until 10 years. They watch 10 years. Oh my God. Did you know whatever the male sex toy industry or the waifu or the pillow, anime pillow, the sex doll, do you know that's like a $50 billion industry? I mean, kind of already is happening with porn. That's already kind of a thing now. Well, that's been a thing for a long time. Men have been swapping out girls for prawn for, gosh, what, 20 years now? Because what, I mean, really, you think about like, it was already a fair investment to go get laid. You're like, look, all I want is the orgasm. And I got no shame. I'm done. I'm an economist, damn it. I do not have fucking 10 hours of time to go waste just to maybe stand a chance to get my dick wet. I could spend 5 minutes, jerk off, be done, and be doing something way more important right now. So that is I guess, but that's become ubiquitous. People are okay with that. No, I mean, maybe not, but there's just like, yeah, okay, it's a fact of life. It's background noise now, right? It's just part of the culture. I don't know if sex dolls are going to be part of the culture where you could bring them out on actual dates. But digitally, I mean, it right here, they got the digital AI. And it kind of goes to, there's another corollary here between the monkeys and the males. The monkeys wanted the soft, motherly cloth fake monkey. They didn't really, they'll take the milk if they needed it, but they went to the soft motherly. It's kind of the same thing with the girls. The men do want the sex, sure, but they do want to have like a nice, sweet, supporting, kind woman. And God, it's not there. It just isn't. I always have to kind of figure out and judge, all right, how much of this shit I see on the internet is real? How much of it is professional wrestling? How much of it is just a pissed off, man-hating feminist? Versus how much of it is real. I don't. You look at divorce rates. You go through your own personal dating experiences. Have I dated nice, sweet girls? Yes, they were 30 years ago. They were the exception, not the rule. Most of them were cold. Most of them were uninteresting. Most of them were robots. Very few women. And there were, I should have paid more attention. If there's some advice I could give you boys, is if a girl just out of nowhere buys you a little gift, like when I was young and stupid, I'm like, well, that's weird. Why did she give me this gift? I mean, I wasn't offended. I'm like, oh, that's nice. She got me this gift. What kind of weird girl getting me this gift? Well, thank you very much for the weird gift. And then you put it away and you lose it. And you're like, boy, that was a weird girl. Girls like, what do you want to do for your birthday? Nothing. I really want to do nothing for my birthday. And then they spring a surprise birthday on you at the place of dinner. You're like, all right, that was nice. I should recognize that. But when does that happen? I mean, really, when is it? A girl, what was it? Clerks, there's, Dante, not a lot of girl makes homemade lasagna and brings it to you at work. That kind of thing. That was one thing where when I was working security in college, never had a girl bring me food. Even the ones that were presumably interested in me, like, I didn't think about it because, like, well, they don't have to bring me food. They're just as poor as I am. But those, one hand I could count that on out of the hundreds I've dated. And I don't even want to know how much worse it is trying to date today. There's a piece of me I want to like go try online dating, see what would happen. Although I already did, maybe more like, oh yeah, actually go ask girls out, see what the hell happens. Because it's somewhat hypocritical where I'm like, oh yeah, well, I hear from Chad. I guess as an economist, I can look at data and figures and come within the ballpark range. But just looking at it now, holy shit. They're hostile. They're not loving. They're not kind. They're not caring. And just a simple foreign concept. If you're in a relationship with anyone, but in this particular case, you guys are in a relationship with a girl, she should be adding to your life. She should be stressing you out. She should be exhausting you. And if you have a choice between a thing, not a human being, a thing that spews robotic AI answers, doesn't divorce you, I mean, all these other things, and you get a It triggers a neurochemical reaction in your brain that's going to put you better than having nothing at all. Again, akin to Wilson without Wilson. I can't argue that logic. I can't. If you have a waifu, a digital, I don't. Let's agree not to do anime pillows. Can we agree on that? The cartoons. Can we agree on that? If you have an AI or your sex doll or whatever, I guess to be scientifically honest, I can't criticize if you got a waifu pillow or a digital relationship with some girl that you're never going to meet. Who am I to argue if it puts you in a better mood? Who am I to argue if you're less depressed? Who am I to argue? I mean, I would ideally say, look, you really ought to go for a real one. And maybe you do. But in the meantime, yeah, the monkeys with the cloth mother did better. I guess I can't deny science. Yeah, Tom Hanks' character did better with Wilson. But I guess the main point I want to bring with it, this is how bad it's gotten. This is how bad it's gotten. And to provide a little bit of defense, not a lot, I still want to see what these guys look like. Like, if you're just this fat pig of a man who's on your drugs and you're not putting any effort into it, you've never asked out a girl, I have no sympathy for you. But I will provide a little bit of a defense that, unfortunately, men do need women to a certain extent. No, we don't need each other. We can all live. Yes, you can live on bread and water. I guess you can. And you take your supplement vitamins. What a wonderful world that will be. But in a more philosophical sense, men are better. We'll use the Rollo Tomasi quote. Men are better with women in their lives than not, and vice versa. But we're in a generation today where the majority of women do not want to be with you guys. Sorry, ladies. Don't tell me it's not true. Prove it's not true. I'm sick and tired of hearing, oh, you're just negative. You're just... No. We've seen it. We've seen the battlefields. Okay. Again, go watch my video. What would the world look like if women like men or girls like guys? They would be in shape. They'd be thin. They'd be wearing dresses. They'd be feminine. I cannot emphasize enough they don't. So I don't want to hear this. Men aren't trying. Men have to. No, it's not that. You girls just don't like men that much. And that's fine. That's your choice. However, it doesn't solve the problem that genetically, biologically speaking, men still have an attachment to women. And if this helps, look, ladies, let me ask, let me pose you girls another way to view this. If men did this, they would be asking you out less and bothering you less, okay? I know you all complain men aren't asking women out anymore, right? But the other men that you don't want to have you ask out, they're also not asking you. Or we could put it this way. Men aren't asking us out anymore, yes, but are the other men harassing you less? The men you want to ask you out, they're not asking you out. The men who ask you out that you don't want you to ask them out, that's harassment, right? So, all right, you lost the men, or there's less men asking you out that you want them to ask out, but there's also less men harassing you, less men not asking you out that you didn't want them to ask you out, correct? And so if they're busy at home, just think about this, but then multiply it times an entire generation of men. It's Friday night. Jeff, that's too old of a name. David, no. Jade, no. I don't want to do Tanner. What's a good Zoomer name? Let's just go with Tanner. Okay, Tanner. Oh, wait. Tristan. There's a perfect Zoomer name. Tristan. There you go. Tell me you're a Zoomer without telling me you're a Zoomer. Tristan's there. It's Friday night. All right. Tristan could go to the nightclub or the bar and spend all the money and time. But if he knows that most of the girls don't like him and they're not going to be reciprocal or receptive to him making an approach, and it'd be more of the harassment variety. If he was like, and he has himself like a digital girlfriend that he could talk AI, then he jerks off to some prawn and he decides like, no, I'm just going to stay in. I'm not even going to bother getting ready. I'm not going to spend the 2 hours out and back and parking and all that other stuff. That's one less guy bothering you, isn't it? That's one less. And let's just say Tristan wasn't a really good looking guy. Let's say, I don't know, like he was in the Navy or something. Oh, geez, look at that face. Oh, no one wants Tristan to ask them out. And so here's this. He just took himself. He's not bothering you. He's not bothering you. Isn't that an improvement? Now, of course, yeah, Thaddeus or Chad Dick the Third isn't asking you. Okay, fine. I said, but at least you're not being bothered, right? Or being bothered less. And it's all because of digital girlfriends. I don't know. It's kind of in your best interest, or not your best. It improves your situation. There's less men bothering you because they're jollies off to porn, and they got a kind of a stay-at-home wife sort of thing to have a conversation with. And, do you like the nervous conversation boys have today with you on the first date? Do you enjoy that even? Well, just trying to help you out. So I haven't come down yet. Is there shame? Should there be no shame? I'm always, look, did you put in the effort? You did. Instead of, okay, fine. And some guys, look, yeah, you're too short, you're too ugly, whatever. You just never, or you don't have the work ethic to become, it's not that important to you. Right? If it makes you feel better, I don't know, there should be no shame. I mean, especially if it's digital, who's going to find out? For God's sake, don't bring your blow up doll to the movie theater. Right? But yeah, I don't know. You're going to be better with Wilson than without. So you might as well. And until you girls disavow yourself of Harlequin romance novels and vibrators, then you can't cast shade until you do. All right, let's go to the super chats and have ourselves a treat. Look at this, 436 people. By the way, Achieving Minimalism Theory and Practice is open for enrollment until the 8th. Sign up before it closes. Get your financial shit together. Let's go to the super chats. And I will also be on with Vlad Elkins later tonight. I believe 9:30 his time, 7:30 my time on the Elkins Accounting Hour. Nonstop trade, $2 more. Guys will live like TFM in the future. Well, they're going to have to. And that's why I wrote, link below, by the way. I guess I should tell about the resources. The menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex. That's linked below. Half of you are not going to be married. It's not my forecast. It's Goldman Sachs and all the other bigwig people on Wall Street. They forecast half of marrying age women aren't going to be married by 2030, which means half of the men aren't going to be married. So you better figure something out. I'm trying to get ahead of that. So there you go. You guys, we can't be for certain, but it's looking like half of you just aren't going to be married ever. You're not going to have a wife, and you gals aren't going to have a husband. And that's perfectly fine. So no one's putting a gun to anyone's head, but you better figure out what to do. And that's why I came up with the menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex. I guess add Wilson to the mix. Sure, why not? Nonstop trade too. In the book, I even tell women, well, why don't you go have lesbian relationships with women? Why not? I mean, what? You're not going to have it with the men, so why not go have it? Well, I don't know. Well, have you tried it? Cappy, is that Operation Evil? You goddamn right it is. Would they listen to Look, you guys ready for a philosophical? Are you ready for a philosophical question? Sit down. What do you think the average American woman would choose here in the United States? Do you think she'd choose to lose weight or become a lesbian? I'm dead serious question. I'm not trying to slam out. I'm just showing you, well, generally how much everyone hates dieting and exercise. Really, I want to know what percentage you could lose the weight and stay in physical shape, but you have to it's a lifelong labor. It's a lifelong labor. That's not fun. That's a lifelong liability. Or if you need attention, get your own Wilson, but it could be another girl. What percent would choose the lesbianism? Which is not wrong. I don't care. I think it's a little intellectually dishonest when you're straight, but you're like, well, I'll go be a lesbian just because you need attention. You even see that starting to happen now in a lot of the formerly Christian churches where, the Methodists? There's some church where the headquarters of Minneapolis Shock, where the latest leader, female pastor, says, well, she doesn't really believe in God. Well, what's with all the pomp and circumstance? It was just a place to go to be part of a community. That was it. Religion was the false narrative or the false flag under which they rallied. It's just a bunch of Marxist leftists who just want to have some kind of spiritual, I don't know who they pray to. I don't know why there's even a crucifix. Go look it up. I'm not even making it up. Oh, I don't really believe in God. Well, then why are you a pastor? Problem is, too many guys need women's validations. I don't know if it's validation. I think guys are just genetically programmed to like women. There's nothing wrong with it. What I'm trying to point out is, look, guys, they're just not that interested, and you're going to waste your entire life pursuing them, unless you pursue them intelligently. I'd like to think that in all my writings and books and everything, here's the way to intelligently approach women so you don't ruin your life in the process. I don't know if it's validation, but it's certainly, yeah, what guy doesn't want to be loved? I mean, I remember the girl I was dating before my girlfriend, because I was dating both. I was dating several. I told this one, like, I didn't want to date her anymore. And she's like, you just like that girl because she treats you nice. She cooks for you, treats you nice. And that really told me, in the early odds, mid odds, that told me something. Girls find it appalling sometimes that other women treat you nice. Like, really? Really? Fuck you. I guess I'll go with the Wilson Bowl any day over that. I wonder how that one's doing. She was real pretty. She didn't like being told no. I know she's poor. She wasn't that hardworking, but all right. Hand clogs, $5. Cappy, I have a life to live. I'm going to die. I need to make more money and give you more money and stuff and things that I want to do and try. Love and peace. Just make as much money as you want. Honestly, if I lived where you lived, I'd be hiking all the time, man. I don't know if I'd have to work all that time. Reen Schwartzer, $5. AI girlfriend would be very profitable. Heck, my video game NPCs have more life and interesting topics than most people today. You know, it's real sad. I get a lot of joy out of the dog of no real value. Now, certainly dogs have personalities. I agree. So it's a little bit more interesting than an inanimate object or an AI. But man, that dog, it's like my little nephews and nieces. Do you want to? The answer is always yes. Do you want to go to the dog park? Yes. The dog no real value. Do you want to have treats? Yes. Do you want to go in the back where you play catch? Do you? Yes. Let's go. Yes. Excitement, exuberant. And then you got, God, what I don't understand are miserable women. Follow me in on this. And miserable men could be the same thing too. But all these gals, like, these guys are married to these frumpy, old, miserable, not vibrant, not joyful, not exuberant women. Just these miserable gals. Like, why? I guess a sex doll would be better. Reading a book would be better. Anything would be better than hanging out with a miserable person. And you look at these gals like, well, there ain't no sex because you got fat. But man, what a boring, miserable. You want a fun girl if they're around, if you could find her. You want the girl who she puts on the heels. You walk in like, oh, lasagna for me, and you're got your little apron and not much else on. Sounds fun to me. Oh, you groomed and you painted your landing strip. Excellence. Okay, let's play. Did you take out the garbage? Oh, those, I never tolerated one of those. I was in them shortly. I'm like, nope, we're done. Hand clogs, $2. MLD is in the chat for some reason. Oh, Modern Life John. What is he? He probably wants to be awarded a wrench. John, text me, man, when you want to get together about that thing. All right, let's scroll down a little bit. Who's going to carry the boats? $2. Ever tune into Lord of Gingers? That guy Pete. Oh yeah. I made a spoof video of him. I got a red wig on Amazon, and I what's his intro? I did. How you guys doing? Got my Dunkin' Donuts here. Yeah, that guy Pete, who you refused to invite to social gatherings. Nonstop Drake, $2. Not everyone dream woman is Michelle Obama like you. No, they're not. The Machinist, ASMR, $2. Robots are the future. We need more robotic workers. Well, robots will always be the future. Better robots, better AI. Yeah, sure. But they're not going to replace humans. I think it's a long way out. We're the merging of the personality, psychological, AI aspects of conversation with a nice woman, a nice AI, is merged with an actual physical body, like a Stepford housewife type of deal. I don't think that'll ever happen because I don't know how you replicate a human. It just doesn't. You can't do it physically. But I don't know. Maybe the robots will. Maybe it'll be what was the movie? Blade Runner. Maybe it'll be the synthetics. Maybe it'll be someday. It won't be now. SJ, 2 Canadian. Trad wife Con versus Chad's friends with benefit through 20s. What's worse? Trad wife conservative versus Chad friends with benefits. I mean, if I had a girl that was with Chad, had friends with benefits, or a trad wife, I guess I'd take a trad wife conservative, like an authentic one, a real one. Yeah, obviously over that. TLO passport bro, $5. Going overseas is the only solution. I'm inclined to agree. I don't think it's the only solution, but again, apply economics. We can't. Here, you want? Let me give you another angle for those of you who are maybe have a little bit of shame, or you're criticizing the passport bros, or you're women. You're like, I can't believe these men. Let me tell you a little bit of history. So the SR-71 Blackbird, it was America's top spy plane for decades. Still think the fastest jet-powered craft in the world. Because it was going so fast, metal expands. And so they couldn't use aluminum or aluminum alloys. They needed something super strong, but super light, and ended up saying, we can make this out of titanium. The problem is, at the time, the titanium was mostly produced in Russia. And so I wish they made a movie about it, but the CIA basically set up a bunch of front companies to buy titanium from the Russians without the Russians knowing it. And they were able to make, I don't know, a bunch of A-12s and SR-71 Blackbirds. They had to go overseas. Why? Because the titanium wasn't here in the United States. Sometimes you just don't have what you need in your country. You know, Hong Kong has to import its food. Iceland has to import the sun. I'm trying to think of, Saudi Arabia has to have desalinization plants. We have to import oil. Not everything is in the country. And if you don't have it, you got to go overseas. And that's perfectly fine when it comes to commodities, engines, physical items. But once it comes to people, oh my God, no. Look, dude, you just shipped out all the jobs to China. You got cheap labor overseas in China. You cut away the industrial capacity of the United States. One would say you increase the complexity or the value added. I'm not going to go into that. Why? What? There's no traditional women here. And let me ask the girls again. Girls, you're allowed to comment in the comment section, or even send me an email if you want to explain to us. You scoff and mock and ridicule and even yell and scream if a guy says, I want a traditional wife. So you don't want that. There aren't any traditional wife, or I estimate it's less than 3% of the female marrying age population is capable of marriage, traditional wife, etc. You girls don't want that. That's fine. Men are simply honoring your wishes, because sit the fuck down and shove a cactus up your ass. Men also have requirements too. Men want traditional wives. You don't have to like it, but you can't deny it. And so don't be surprised. You don't have titanium. Well, we got to go overseas to get our titanium. Look at those CIA suckers building their SR-71. They had to go to Russia to get it because there ain't none here. And so, yeah, I don't blame. What? It's not here. These guys in a certain way are honoring your wish. What is the problem? We're not going to date you. Fine. We're going to go overseas. Look at you losers. How dare you go overseas? At this time, you're not wrong, guys. You're not wrong. These girls have been raised by television, media, the internet, feminists, and the Democrat Party. And that's fine. They could choose that life. Just, you're not go overseas. I can't blame you at all. Tell these guys to stop coping in the U.S. with the crappy cards they were dealt with and go where you're wanted. Yeah. I mean, be careful overseas. A lot of scams. And a lot of people tell you it isn't. You just don't go over there and like, oh my God, well, you guys still have to be a real man. You still have to be productive. You have to be able to provide and support for these women. And yeah, there's a lot of scam artists out there, but they're thin. They're thin. At least that's something. At least they brought that to the negotiating table. All right, they're physically attractive. That's step one. We got, okay, step one in building a plane. Start with the wings. Okay, good start. Oh my God, these men, they don't want planes without wings. Look at these guys. They can't fly the wingless planes. Ha, ha, ha. Fuck, dude. And by now, if you haven't figured out to ignore what the leftist feminists are, just... Oh, by the way, gentlemen, if you're a Democrat, do you want to start voting Republican now, or at least Libertarian, or maybe just stop voting Democrat? Not a big political guy, but you do know these girls don't need you because the Democrats have created a welfare state. You do know that, right? Artful Cologne, $2. Some places like Wells, Nevada are quite therapeutic. Right. Well, you can pay for it there. A deeply closeted gay man, $2. Sup, old banker? How many chicks have you analyzed? 3 or 4. Girls really don't like anal. I think 3. Who the hell was the one that... One, I don't think any of them liked it. 2 were willing. There was a third one who liked it. Who the hell was that, though? God, I can't remember. Yeah, I don't think it was more than 4. Now I'm wondering who was the one. Who the fuck was that one? Yeah. I roll, therefore I am 10 Canadian. When I get home, my dogs are always happy to see me. There you go, exactly. 100% ROI. They make me happy enough to make it feel like a 200% ROI. Dealing with most NPCs, women, negative ROI. That's humans in general. Humans suck. They're just so fucking boring and stupid. And I've obviously had issues with friends in this past 5 years where I'm like, who the fuck are these people? What the fuck happened? I don't know if it's in the air or what, but a bunch of guys became a bunch of pussies. So I'm like, oh, I'm done with this shit. Done with this fucking shit. Oh, but yeah, that's why I did the book of numbers, analyze that ROI in the pursuit of women, because I look back and I'm like, this wasn't worth it. Talk to any guy who's 40 or older and say, was it worth it all the time you spent your teens and 20s chasing girls? No, absolutely not. Wasn't worth it. Dealing with much. This is all true. Jorge with AG, $2. Happy New Year, Cappy. Happy New Year, Jorge. Reen Schwartzer, $5 again. Nah, Cappy, definitely going to have the waifu port of the appeal. I gotta get glasses. Nah, Cappy, definitely going to have the waifu's port of the appeal. It is they don't remind you of real women to a degree. I think not fat and are attractive. This is all human beings. But an AI is probably going to be more interesting than your average human being. I mean, this is why, what do? I consume podcasts. You got to understand the reason certain podcasters make it versus others, because some podcasters are interesting and others are not. The podcasters that are interesting generally, like comedians that are funny, have a higher IQ or more intelligent. And so you'll have, consuming podcasts is a parasocial relationship. You're going to get more out of listening to someone like The Great One, or who do I enjoy? The guy who opened Laser Pig. Laser Pig is fucking genius, man. Laser Pig is awesome. Even though it's one way. AI is going to probably be the same thing, because the AI isn't trained to be a dick. The AI isn't constantly trying to scheme you over. AI just wants to be played. Just like the dog, all the dog wants is ball. The sphere of eternal joy and happiness, and it just wishes for all you as a human has to do is throw ball. That's it. And the dog will love you forever. Artful Clone, $5. Women live longer and work less than men. They will never value time as much as men do. Correct. That's changing though. Men are working less. Women have started to work less too. But men are stopping to bail them out. So an increasing private subsidy of sorts has to be made as dad. I've seen this a lot with my generation. Dad is always bailing them out, fixing this, fixing that, springing money for that, springing money for this. It's they are, and I think women, well, the life expectancy gap has been closing between men and women. I know the Zoomers are the first generation that's expected to not live as long as their parents. Like the life expectancy is going down. You girls wanted this equality. What was the pain thing in, it's a great movie. The Princess Bride. You're like on pain level 2, ladies. I'm sorry, you don't work as hard. Well, you don't. The number's there. You don't work as many hours. You don't work as hard as stuff. You're on like 2 of 15. And you're still cracked. And we still got these girls crying, oh my God, 40 hours a week. But it will happen. Okay, here. Another reason to go get a world without men. As men are scaling back because we only need to support ourselves, by necessity, women are going to they are having to work more. There's no doubt about that, or suffer a lower standard of living. You're starting to have men who don't try at all. And even if you girls did need your tire repaired or thermostat put in, there's not going to be men to do it. There just isn't. And you're going to have to walk or take the bus. The real world is, men have essentially shielded women from the harsh realities of the real world. That's really what we've really stood between them and starvation and cold and warring tribes and hunger and all that. The number of men in the future who are able to fend off the cold, crime, invading enemies, hunger, starvation, that kind of stuff, they're dwindling to the point there won't be enough. Men are not only are they choosing not to protect the girls from the real world anymore, they're not even able to protect themselves from it. And it's coming. Starting to crack in the dam now. A little bit of water is getting through. And so that whole thing is going to go, and you're going to get reality with no male intermediary to protect you from it. Because the men won't be, have you seen them? Have you seen the boys today? I bet you his music therapy degree is going to make some crops grow. And then we're all going to have equally low. We're all going to die. We'll mostly die at birth. Life expectancy will drop back to 35. Universal coordinate, $8 Canadian, or Australian. Sorry. Didn't mean to insult you, sir. High value men do not want low quality women. Dating is a joke. Yep. A deeply closeted gay man, $2. Krugman's course is only 10 and he has a Nobel, yo. Yeah. And he's okay. The Clark Medal, he also has a Clark Medal, and he has a Nobel Peace Prize in economics. Have you noticed how well the Nobel Prize winners of economics have done? Have you noticed the economy? That's like my mechanic has all these certifications, but my car keeps breaking down because he's a shitty mechanic. Krugman's a shitty economist. He could charge $10 for. I charge $500 for my minimalism course. Mine actually has value. And what the fuck is he going to teach you aside from more social? That's what I don't get. I don't get what Krugman's course would be. What is it? Oh, those rascally Republicans. We need more of other people's money. Do I need to take a 5-hour course and pay him $10 for that? I know he's probably going based on his popularity because he's going volume and not price point. I'm going price point. Andre Sierra. $5. Yeah, but if Tristan stays in, he's not validating egos or working harder than he needs to be. Unacceptable. I know. It is a real paradox for these girls. These guys aren't fawning them with attention, and they're not working hard. Also, Tristan's likely not to have a kid, so he doesn't really have to work. He's not paying his taxes to help pay for the nationalized daycare fund that all these girls are going to inevitably need when they get their freeze-dried eggs impregnated, maybe. When they're 38 and the kid has Down syndrome. I know Tristan should really be working more to pay for that. You're right. It's almost like women will have a responsibility to society no matter what. I wonder if anyone went over that in a chapter called Choices in a book. And I wonder if he titled it A World Without Men. How dare Tristan not go and worship at the Cathedral of Women known as the nightclub? Reed Schwartz at $5. Women will choose lesbian look at the rate of Zoomers 1/4. What the F? No. It's just guys have standards and don't want fat, pierced, loud, angry parasites. Well, it's kind of interesting you bring that up, Reed. I believe it's only 20%. Well, no, you're right. Without having seen the data, 20% of Zoomers identify as not straight. I guarantee you, so that's 1/5. I guarantee you it's less than 20% men identify as gay. And you are probably 25% of girls identify as lesbian. So there you go. Like what? Work hard, major in STEM, close the wage gap, or be hot and attractive man I'm in love with. That sounds like too much work. Oh, I know. I'm a lesbian. Tee-hee. I'm pansexual this week. I'm an astronaut. Yay. I don't know if they're loud, angry parasites, but I do believe they're lazy people who do anything to avoid. I'm not even talking just girls. I'm talking, you see it all over. But yeah, I think, look, to get a guy that you're physically attracted to anyway, girls, you got to be physically attractive. That's no joke. That's hitting the gym. That's working out at least 3 times a week, real workouts, and it's dieting. Who wants to do that? I don't want to do that. Worst part of my life is the gym. I hate the gym. I could totally see if it's like, no, I'm not going to, no, I'm going to eat and be merry. I'm going to eat fat, happy, and merry. And I'm just going to give up the girls, but give it up. You know, and you girls like, oh, but I want a relationship. Well, there's some lesbians, I guess. And I guarantee you, if we had some lesbians in the audience, real ones, not the fake ones, I mean, they're probably like, who are these posers? You know, there are some lipstick lesbians. I got to imagine, like, no, I just like vagina. That's all. Like, legitimately does. And they got, you know, they're accountants or lawyers or something productive. And like, who are these gals? Roz the Skunk, $5. I almost missed you live because you're so short. Good one, man. Good one. Messley Martin, $5. New guy. It should be a human rights violation to be a male who's 5'9" or under. We should kill them all. We ought to kill all these short men. Absolutely. We deserve reparations and free HRT to transition to female. Reed Schwartzer, five generous bucks again. Crappy may do an email later. Need to organize my thoughts, but I don't think you can stop the pendulum from swinging too far back. Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. Just so you know, I'm not for vengeance. I'm not for revenge because it will never end. There's innocent people along the way. All I want is for people to accurately diagnose the reality of the sexes so that we're forthright and honest with each other and we can actually interact and be in the same society with one another. But I'm afraid women have treated men so poorly these past 60 years, especially lying to the younger generations. I think that's where it is. You're going to have a lot of angry men. Well, you do have a lot of angry men, and they're going to seek their pound of flesh. They are not seeking reality or understanding. I wouldn't go so far as forgiveness, but understanding. And I don't see girls like, oh yeah, we were wrong, so I guess we're just going to go to each respective corners. But yeah, that pendulum is swinging back, and it's not even the pendulum may manifest itself not in the form of men taking action. Thank God, we don't need any more Elliot Rodgers, but men just stopping and not caring and letting society fall apart, and just letting the water come out of the dam and hit everyone. Meanwhile, they've left, they're gone. I think. And maybe that's the healthiest, where men just say, okay, we're done. We're going galt. And that's in the data. Like you could see that. And then, oh my God, why aren't men? Oh, let's yell at them some more and shame them. I'm like, how about you be thin and nice and pleasant? Shut up, Paige. Okay, fine. Oh, look, is that a waterfall? Look at that water coming rushing down this valley. Good thing I got my helicopter. Bye. What do you mean, crypto? My Truth, the King, $10. I think back to an intense, genuine conversation between Andrew Henderson and Patrick Beck-David about 1 to 2 years ago, particularly Colombia, a fill-in substitute for traditional country. Basic genesis is capital flight growing. Yeah, it is going galt, or you could call it capital flight. I wouldn't necessarily call it brain drain. You could call it male drain. Well, Andrew's always said, go to where you're treated best. That's the foundation of his company. Look, men are, and I'm sorry, gals, the jig is up. The gig is up. Yeah, the internet. Guys could see all this behavior now online, and no one's going. You say that's the internet. That's not real. I don't see anyone coming to correct it. I really don't. It corroborates with most men's dating experiences, and men are leaving. They are going gold. They're getting on with lives, or they're going to find wives overseas. I can't blame them at all. And there is a correlation between that and taxes, but I think most men, these are not super wealthy men. You take your average passport bro, he ain't Andrew Henderson. Just an average guy who wants to go to the Dominican, find himself a nice wife. Oh my God, not a nice wife. I mean, really, you just like her because she's nice and she cooks for you and treats you well. Fuck off. Like, see how they almost got it where they think it's bad if a girl treats you well? Like the girls who want to get married, they call them pick-me's or pick-mishas. It is kind of a hate movement at a base level. Chad Velcomes, CPA, $2. Is there such a thing as a good girlfriend of no real value? Is a good girl? Well, no, a good girlfriend. I call it the dog of no real value because the dog does nothing but love and be cute and be sweet. A girlfriend could do the same in the same regards of being love, kind, but she doesn't work. But if she brought you joy and happiness, had sex with you, stayed hot, blah, 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 raised the kids. Okay, does she bring economic value? No, neither does the dog of no real value. That's why I call it the dog of no real value. But there are other ways they make up for it, primarily in love and being a sweet entity to be around. But look at that. The idea that, maybe you ought to be sweet and kind, that actually gets some women's hair on the back of their necks up. They hate that. Like, so being sweet and kind to men, that pisses some of you off, huh? Don't tell me we're wrong. Don't tell me that. You're wrong. How dare someone treat you nice? My truth, the king, 10 generous dollars. And though America is resource rich, it's morally and spiritually bankrupt, while third world trad countries may be resource underdeveloped behind, but climbing in spirit and investments from desirable, motivated men. Yes, what you will have, I was talking to some lawyers yesterday, and they're overseas. You will, in that regard, at least have labor drain and brain drain. I'll tell you this right now. You go look at what men and women produce in the economy. All right. And men start going overseas and they bring their plumbing skills with them and their computer programming skills and their accounting skills and their doctor skills. I don't know. You're going to have a bunch of diversity and inclusion and sociology majors here with some music therapy. I mean, you'll have plenty of kindergarten teachers and nurses, but you're not going to have any doctors. You're not going to have any trains. You're not going to have any Alex Patinos. You're not going to have any truck drivers. You're not going to have any surgeons. You're not going to have any cops. And whatever, sit down, everyone. What determines a country's standard of living and total economic wealth is the individual people that make up the country. And if you have a bunch of parasites living in there, whether that's demanding student loan bailouts or WIC or TAMF or their disability checks, and no one's producing anything, your country is fucked. Don't listen to me. I just hate America. I'm trying to warn you what's going to happen if you don't start incorporating men back into society and give them what they want. I don't mean in a sexual nature, but simple respect, courtesy, equal employment law. I really don't know what you all were thinking, pouring sand into the engine of America's economy. I have no idea what you were planning on doing with that. My truth, the king, $2. Those are simple observations, not moral judgment. A deeply closeted gay man, again, $2. Krug saved me. I quit engineering and became a rapper. Is that what does Krugman say? Follow your heart, money will follow. Him and Robert Reich, man, two old washed up boomer economists who just failed miserably at their jobs. And at the end of the day, they're just a bunch of socialist whores. That's all Robert Reich, you want to see a sad, pathetic man who wants to be still hip and cool with the kids. He's got to be in his 70s. This guy is still like, we just need socialism. We just need more of other people's money. It's like, dude, don't you have like grandkids to tend to? that guy feels sad for like, wow, you were the head of the department. You were the Secretary of Labor. And here you are on social media. Hey, kids. Hello, fellow teenagers. Hey, wouldn't it be great to have free shit for people who work for a living? Nelson Rivera, 20 generous dollars that will go to pay for probably dinner tonight. So you're going to have that conversation with TFM about the waifu life? I might. I mean, we've been intending to, but he's busy. I'm busy. Rolo would like to have him on because he's not wrong. He's the foremost authority. I'd say he's about the only one that I think has a healthy relationship with an inanimate object. He's aware of everything. He's not intellectually dishonest in the slightest. Or are people, men specifically, not ready yet? I don't know if people are ready. I don't care if they're ready for the conversation or not. It'd be one worth having. Oh, well, soon the pain of inaction will exceed the pain of action. Soon. Can you imagine that, where there's just no men? Like, these girls get their dream. They get their wet dream come true. A bunch of pussy male Democrats. All these soy boys who vote the right way and they're sensitive and they listen. And all of a sudden, like, the grid goes down. I think there's only three grids, Texas and then East and West. And then one of the grid goes down, but there's not enough electricians. And then there's this perfect little Democrat husband they have. And then the rioters come because the lights are out. There's not enough cops because no one could pass the physical trainer. They passed, but they're like weak ass cops. And they got rid of guns. And their perfect little boyfriend, Tanner, doesn't have guns. Oh, here comes some pissed off people. I wonder what they want. Oh, you want something she has? Oh, no, you don't understand. She values herself based off of her master's degree. You see, that's what you should really want her for. Oh, you don't care what she wants. Oh, interesting. Wait, where are you taking my wife? Don't hurt them. They're disadvantaged. Have you seen that? There was a guy that got stabbed in New York, and he was like an MPERG guy, Ralph Nader's group, big leftist activist in the community, New York. So he got stabbed and killed by a black guy. Just the facts. But the gal didn't want to say what race or nationality the guy was because she loved her political correctness more than she loved her husband. Who knows? Tanner, the Democrat soy boy husband, might say, do you need any condoms? Oh, you're not going to use condoms. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. Raise your son? Well, I am paying for your welfare anyway, aren't I? Ha, 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 ha. Sure, what the hell? I got a daughter too, you know. Democrat husbands. Just don't hurt me. Then girls you might have to learn to pick up a gun. Reed Schwartzer, $5. Politically alone, I've been climbing the Maslow's ladder, and women kept voting to kick my ass back down at every opportunity. So why are they in that position? Why is anyone in the position to knock you down? Maslow's hierarchy. Your escape from poverty and establishing financial stability should not be dependent upon women, unless you got married. And then what's rule number 5? I keep telling you boys. Unless you got divorced or you lent money or something, I don't see how another person knocks you down. And okay, more importantly, did we learn from it? C. Dumbledore, $10. Cappy, I think we won't hit the true bottom of the trench until 2045 when millennial women start to hit retirement age. At that point, the delusion has to end, but I'm not sure we get that long. I speculate in the last chapter of A World Without Men how it will go down. I do not speculate when, because there's many vectors. You know, we got a bunch of fuel. There's 1,000 ways it could all ignite and explode. So I don't know where that's going to come from. I would think losing the world's reserve currency status. I think the federal government not making payments on the national debt. It could just be people can't afford housing anymore because there's not enough housing being built, but we keep printing off more money to pay for a welfare state. That soon there's riots and it just shuts down. Just a slow, as the cancer spreads type of decay. Like, for example, in California, now you don't have delivery drivers starting April 1st. Because of a $20 an hour minimum wage. Well, okay, there's 1,500 people laid off. Cell by cell, a critical number of cells causes the body to die. A critical number of snowflakes causes the avalanche to avalanche. Oh my goodness. Erica Williams, Erica's Classy Climb. Please subscribe to her channel. $10. My 17-year-old nephew and about 5 of his friends all do lawn care on weekends. There you go. X there. Good. Those kids all said no college and have about 5,000 in savings in their banks. Awesome. Gen Z boys are tuning blue collar and tech. Good. At least they're listening. See, that was one thing I was surprised about. My generation went through college. It was a waste of money. Then the millennials went through. They didn't listen to us, and they really got hosed. And now maybe the Zoomer boys are picking up on it, saying, well, I know the fewer and fewer men are going to college. Maybe they're realizing it. The girls, they've been going to college less and less too, but not as much as the boys. So we're going in the right direction, but that gives me hope. Thumper, the sweaty fat guy, $5. On the bright side, Cappy, you tower over Robert Wright in intellect and in stature. He makes all of us look brilliant and tall. He does serve that function, doesn't he? He is a short. I think he's only like 5'3". That's not his fault. But the sad thing is, he obviously is a brilliant man. He wouldn't have been able to get a PhD. This is back in the day. You had to do math and all that. Not just, oh my God, I love black vagina and socialism. Here's your doctorate. Thank you. Can I be the president of Harvard? Of course you can. So he had to go back when it might have meant something. But just this sad basic bitch that he's become of, I just need more of other people's money. I'm like, okay, Robert, we'll see how much when you die, how much of your estate goes to charity. Oh, well, speak of the devil, look who's here. Alex Patino, our truck driving Latino agent in the field, $5. I spent the last 2 weeks in Mexico, and not seeing Walmart fatties was eye-opening, and gals are well-spoken and behaved. Rarely do you see them dirty, happy beer. Really, in Mexico? I thought Mexico was like one of the few countries that had higher obesity rates than the United States. So I presume you're in a town that it's, I don't know what, metropolitan or somewhere not metropolitan. I'm glad you got to see it. I am going to Asia this winter, and I plan on seeing not fat people. We'll do the not fat people tour. There'll be a bunch of fat Americans at the tour bus. Here you have a skinny Philippine lady. Off to your left, you'll see a skinny Japanese guy. Oh my God, Martha, take a picture. SMV, $5. The wall fast approaches all late 20s women who have treated guys like a commodity in the refrigerator at the disposal. I think it's more like women in their 40s. I think it's more women in their 40s. But the reality, like I know you guys talk about them losing their looks. Dude, there's an economic reality coming fast. And parts of it is already here. Keep your eyes on women complaining about car maintenance and repair. Keep your eyes on that. That's going to be one of the first things. Also, house maintenance and repair. Like, I can't find an electrician. I can't find a mechanic. I can't find a plumber. Keep your eyes on articles like that. Prince Revolver, $5. Do women know how deep they're in? And just no, because all of us lie. Now, here's where men are at fault. You've lied to women. I tell women to stop majoring in dumb shit, not because I want to be mean to them. I tell them that so their lives are improved, because I actually want to tangibly help them. And I'm sick and tired of them asking for bailouts. All right. But for every one of me, there's 5 guys who want to, Bill Burr said it best. Women are surrounded by this tornado of misinformation and nobody corrects them because we want to fuck them. The Democrats want to fuck them by getting their votes. Corporations want cheaper labor. Corporations want marketing out there. They want women to have their own money so that they go and they buy more shit that we don't need. Colleges need these girls to get their doctorates and master's degrees at $300 a credit. And they'll all say whatever women want to hear. They don't know. Go look at what women major in. I mean, there's a barometer or a metric. I just had to pull the data up again for a world without men. And it's still like 85% of women are majoring in dumb shit, despite what's happened. And they just see do women know how deep they're in and they just see no way out, so they keep marching forward? Or is it that they just don't care? No, they don't know. They don't know. Look, brilliant conversation we're all having today, but look, there's instances showing up of this. Look at what was it yesterday? The new female director of the Star Wars movies going forward. She's a Pakistani feminist activist. Like, legit, I'm not making fun of her. She went to Smith College. She's a feminist activist. Go listen to the horrific things she said about men. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. These women are fucking clueless. Kathleen Kennedy herself didn't earn Star Wars. She didn't. She didn't create it. She just happened to be the right woman at the right place at the right time. Right now they're gonna they really actually think they're oppressed. They really actually think just add vagina, like, but don't even just add vagina. That would indicate there was something to add to. It's vagina. That's what makes everything good. Is vagina. If it doesn't have vagina, it's shit. It just the vagina stamp of approval. What's in your oatmeal? Not oatmeal. It's just vagina. Oh well, then it's good. They really are that. I wouldn't say stupid. They are that brainwashed. Because everyone has been sucking their dick for the past 60 years, telling them they can't do anything wrong. They're all brave and amazing. And look how women, they never have anyone come up and tell them. I mean, they do on the internet, but they choose to ignore it. But they don't have like, look, you got to lose weight. This is how it really, no, they've never had that. They honestly think they're going to get like some 9.5 guy who makes six figures. They actually believe it because no one's told them otherwise. People are making too much money or too much tuition or too many votes off of them. And it's not until they hit the wall or in the rare case a man rejects them, do they know something's wrong? But even then it's like, oh, men are pigs. And the patriarchy, Paul Bauer's girlfriend, Come On Man podcast, Paul over at the Come On Man podcast. His woman is one of the few I've known who realized she was wrong, went from being a fat pig to a bikini competition competitor. And she said, like, yeah, no, I was wrong how I treated, I was misinformed. That's one. I'm trying to figure out another. But they just don't, there might be an element of they don't care, but they're not, it will not be until the electricity is out and no one is coming to save them and their lives are threatened through starvation, danger, crime. Are they going to, oh shit, what do we do? And there won't be the men capable of helping them or protecting them because the men themselves either have retreated, gone gold, or don't have their own skill set. You know, what's a hedge fund manager going to do in a riot? What's he going to do? Look at the bright side. More job security for smart people. No, that is one of the, or just hardworking people like Erica pointed out. These young men are out there hustling, doing lawn maintenance, and they're making money. It's not that hard to get a job nowadays. It's easier than it's ever been. Naughty DJ Aftershock, $5. Saw your Harvard videos. Just got to say the MIT people I know always made fun of the Harvard students who called them the another short bus program. Well, they are now. I would have never hired from Harvard anyway. And even MIT, I guess, is going woke. Alex Patino, a truck driving Latino agent in the field, $5. Best part, while in Mexico, I saw 0 gals with painted hair, unnatural colors. I saw any unkept gals. They were doing some manual labor. Well, good for them. Yeah, maybe Mexico. Maybe guys should go down to Mexico getting so. Well, you got a Latina wife, don't you? PJ Cornell, $5. At this point, there are plenty of men who are telling women the truth they don't want to hear. Right. It's, again, for everyone who's trying to help them, every one guy like us, or even their female friends. There are 5 who will tell them, nope, you can eat ice cream all you want. It's like, you really ought to eat some broccoli. No. Oh, and not only is he wrong, you can eat all the ice cream you want. He's a oppressor for telling you to eat broccoli. Yeah, didn't a obese fat activist just die because of heart attack? I mean, you're literally like, you're dying. You're fucking dying. We're not your enemy. Your female sisters and your college professors, your Democrats and your nonprofits are your fucking enemy. Oh, you just hate women because you're telling them to be healthy and get good degrees and be financially responsible. Alex Patino, $5. To be fair, Cappy, I'm 5'6". I weigh 210 pounds. I weighed 210 pounds at 39 years old with a heavy chest. So technically I'm obese, but I look good. Yeah, it's not a universal guideline. Yeah, I got a buddy who's built like a tank, probably like you. He's shorter than me, but you could hit him with a truck. You could get your truck. Matter of fact, we could do an experiment. I'll put my buddy out on the highway and you come at him at 90 miles an hour and your truck will get destroyed. That's how dense this guy is, like made of neutron star, but he's just so dense. But I look good. So if we go by that measure of obesity. All right. So there you go. All right. Just want to share that. I'll be on with Vlad Elkins later on tonight. Link below. The hell do I have link below? The menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex. Guys, stop worrying about it. The girls are not the negotiating table anymore. You got to figure out something else to do. Ladies, the men you want are not here. You're not going to be happy. The men that you're going to settle for, they're not here. So figure out what you need to do without the opposite sex. The menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex, available on Amazon.com. Also, my latest book, A World Without Men. You want to see where this goes. And you guys want to prepare for it. May I recommend A World Without Men, an analysis of an all-female economy. Ladies, I'd ask you to read it too, but you don't want to hear it, so go watch some more fucking Oprah. Go listen to a Lizzo song. See how that does. I wonder what will happen. Like, Lizzo would actually get thin. There would be no more electricity. No one could hear her music anymore. Like, hey, you remember that Lizzo gal? And then she'd go into hiding. And then, as always, Achieving Minimalism Theory and Practice is open for enrollment for the next 3 or 4 days. If you want to get your financial act together, consider taking that course. That's available on Teachable. That's it. See you guys later. Toodles.